Hey, welcome. So if you typically take my Saturday 9:30 a.m. Zoom class, I won't be having a live class this week. Last minute change in my life to go visit my mom for the weekend. So this is in lieu of that. If you're jumping into practice and you like this, then email me, Beth at bethgrahamwellness.com, and I can send you the invite for the class. We do it every week almost, and it's a lot of fun. I usually have a lesson plan that progresses, and what you're jumping into today is a lot of work on the hip and how we use this mobility in the hip in our transitions. We're actually going to start on the mat doing some stuff for the wrist. So the wrist connected to the arm, connected to the shoulder. So when we get some mobility in the wrist, we can also work on shoulder mobility. So see you on the mat. If you have some blocks, you might want those. We'll be coming into a standing split. Or you could use a stool or a coffee table or even the seat of a chair for that part of the class. So what we're going to do is start in a tabletop. So in your tabletop, your wrists are under your shoulders and your knees are under your hips. And what we're going to do is think about walking your wrists. You're just going to pick up the right hand and flip the palm, and the wrist will be in about the same space as it was previously. And then flip the left hand, and then we'll walk back, and you'll keep doing that, leading with the right hand. And just notice your two palms and what you're feeling in the hands, and notice what you're feeling even up through the forearms. We'll come through a few more times, leading with the right. Looking directly down, so the chin tucks in just slightly, and the back of the head is lifted, back of the skull towards the ceiling. All right, we'll come through one more time. And then pause and just notice any feeling or sensation in your wrist. Just take a breath in and a breath out. Okay, we're going to do the same thing leading with the left hand. So flip your left hand forward, wrist forward, and then the right. So we switch sides because there's definitely a little bit more pressure or sensation on the hand that leads this walking. And if you spend a lot of time at a keyboard, or at least some time, or even texting on your phone, this is something good to do. So we'll just come through here a number of times. Notice how different this side feels. You might even feel it not just from wrist up your forearm, but even from wrist down to your fingertips. Let's come through one more time. Okay, now we're going to flip the palms around. You might need to bring your hands a little wider. Notice if they get narrow. Spread your fingers wide so you're pressing down through the base of the thumb and the pointer finger. You might feel a real stretch there. Press the palms down, press your finger pads, fingertips down, and then you might need to adjust and bring your knees a little closer in this position. Then lift your hips, lift your sitting bones up as you look down. And then exhale. Draw your navel into your spine and just let your head drop. Take a breath in here and a breath out. And then flow with your breath. Inhale, lift your chest, your sits bones, and then exhale. Draw your navel in. And we'll just keep flowing in this cat-cow. But what I want you to notice is the crease of the elbows is forward. you're externally rotating your upper arm in the shoulder girdle. This is the same thing we work to do in downward facing dog. There's just a different position of the forearm and the palm. So just notice this might feel a lot freer in the upper back in your cat-cow. But you're also starting to warm up the hips, rotating the pelvis on the steady thigh bone. So let's come through one more time. And then flip the palms forward. Ooh, you might feel like, wow, that was a lot. Spread the fingers wide and bring the crease of the elbow forward. So again, this is what you're working towards, is this external rotation of the upper arm in your dog. Let's give the wrists a break for a moment, and you have a choice. You can either stand on your knees or bring your hips back towards your heels. Reach the arms, palms facing up, straight up to the ceiling, and then palms facing each other, make a fist, really squeeze tight, pull your belly in, pull your upper arms down, and then expand, spread the fingers wide. Again, make a fist, reach through your elbows, and spread fingers wide. A few more times, just feel sort of a pumping motion of making a fist and spreading fingers. And then flip your palms so they face out and release the arms down by your side. Let's just move through the shoulder more. Inhale, sweep the arms up, lead with your ring finger. And then exhale, flip the palms, lead with your thumbs. A few more times. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. Big breath in. And big breath out. Bring the hands forward and down on the mat. Hands can be wider than your outer shoulders. Point your finger 12 noon. Press down with the palms. Notice how you lift out of the shoulders. Crease of the elbow forward and make your way into your high plank. Look down at the floor and press the back of the head away. And then rock forward on your toes. Ground through your pointer finger and thumb. Pull belly in, hike hips up, and lift your hips to your downward facing dog pose. So in down dog, you want to just start to warm up the legs. You can just sort of gently pedal, meaning bend a knee and straighten it. And as you're doing that, feel as if you're creeping your hips, your sitting bones up and back. Relax the head. All right, after this gentle sort of sway of the hips side to side, come into stillness. If you see your inner heels, roll them out so they disappear behind your second and third toe. And then press down with the palms. Feel as if you're stretching the mat forward. Hug your upper arms in towards each other. And then feel yourself lifting the back of the arm, the tricep, into the arm bone. So we access that by pressing down through the knuckles below the fingers. You can see if you pause and watch me, I press down and my shoulders start to move forward towards my hands. So I'll sort of hang into it and do that again. And then hug your upper arms together, like you're rotating the crease of the elbow forward. Press down finger pads, hug upper arms in, pull lower belly in, and then you're pressing the mat forward as you're drawing the hips up and back and bringing more weight distribution into your legs. Relax the neck, ears align between your upper arms. Stay here, breathe in and breathe out. Another inhale, roll your inner thighs back. Imagine you're holding a tennis ball or maybe a grapefruit between your knees. Squeeze it. One
one more time. Big breath in. Feel fully engaged in your body. And then on the exhale, bring your knees down to the mat. Return to your tabletop. Let's just come through a few cat-cows here. Crease of the elbow forward, chest lifts, hips lift. Exhale. Make your way into your cat. Inhale. And exhale. One more time, big breath in and breath out. You'll now stand on your knees. If you'd like, curl your toes under and bring your hands to hold onto your hips. So your fingertips are on the front of the hip. From here, notice if you're spilling the pelvic bowl forward like I am here. And what you want to do is pull the front of the hips up. And as soon as you do that, you feel the base of the buttock engage. So pull the front of the hips up, draw your belly in, and now we're going to start to hinge at the hip. So the hips, the sitting bones come down. Now feel that same action of pulling the front of the pelvis up. As you do that, you might feel some rounding of the back. So begin to lift your chest. Reach your arms up or come into goalpost arms. It depends on your shoulders. So get the hips low, lengthen through the low back. That's initial. Then pull your belly in and lift your chest up. You're maybe feeling a lot through the upper back, sort of an active stretch. Stay here, inhale. And on an exhale, hands down to the mat, and you'll step your right foot forward, and then take your left leg back. You want to be on a railroad track, so you might need to walk your right foot over to the right some, and then just give yourself a moment here. What you want to feel is the pelvis coming forward and down, meaning feel the hips move forward and down. Even let the head drop, relax your jaw, and just feel as if your right knee's moving forward and your left knee's moving back. Give yourself another moment in time here. Just inhale and exhale. All right, you might want blocks. We're coming into a runner's lunge. If you're using blocks, bring them directly under your shoulders and not ahead of your shoulders or behind. Then curl. Well, let me tell you before we go there. Keep the hips moving forward and down. They will lift to some degree, but you want to not pull back on the hips, the pelvis. So stamp your right foot down, pull your right hip crease back, pull your belly in, and then lift your left leg up. So notice how precise that is. Pull the right hip back, hug your inner thighs together, and then as you reach back through the left heel, squeeze the left glute and pull your belly in. Look directly down. Give yourself another few breaths. Keep engaging here. Right hip back, inner thighs together, belly in. Then do not bend your left knee. You're going to keep your left leg straight. We're going to pivot and open to warrior two. So first, pivot on the left foot. Stay strong in the left leg. Keep the hips low. So do not straighten your right knee. Simply stamp the right foot down, use right leg strength, and windmill open to your warrior two. All right, let's give that a try again. Return to your runner's lunge. Pivot on the back foot. You're back to your runner's lunge. It takes so much strength in your right leg. What the body wants to do is bend the left knee or straighten the right leg. You're going to do the opposite. Left leg straight, right knee bent. So just pull lower belly in, pivot on your back foot, stamp your right foot down, pull your belly in strong in your right leg, windmill open, warrior two. Look over your middle right finger. Press the left thigh bone into your back body. Squeeze the left glute. Zipper up front core as you look forward. Stay here. Inhale. And a long exhale. Flip your right hand. Revolve your warrior. Keep the bend in the knee. Reach back through the right arm. And then windmill your hands down to the floor. Lower your back knee and take your right foot back. Come into your tabletop. Just stay here for one breath in and one breath out. Step forward with your left foot. Slide your right leg back. So I'm not going to flip around. You'll be seeing my back when we come into Warrior Two, and that might be helpful to see the left hip. So give yourself some time here. Just let the left knee glide forward. Let the hips, the pelvis get heavy. You might notice a difference on this side. I know personally for me, my left is much tighter in this type of a posture than the right. So just give yourself a few breaths to not just notice there's not a good side and a bad side. It's just, hey, this is a brand new experience here. It's totally different. Notice on your exhale breath if you can get a little heavier. And then looking directly down, this is where you might want to add yoga blocks. Curl your back toes under, lift your back leg up. Now, pull the left hip crease back. Hug your inner thighs in, pull your belly in. And notice when you do that, you've got some space to scoop the chest forward and retract your shoulders. Keep pressing back through the right heel. Squeeze right buttock, hug your inner thighs. Stay for an inhale and an exhale. All right, first time we're going to do this. Pivot on your right foot. So get aligned. Notice you're going to want to straighten the left leg. So we're going to activate the under thigh, the hamstring, by driving left foot down, strong, windmill open, to your Warrior Two. All right, let's come back to runner's lunge. So these transitions from one posture to the next are really helpful in the mobility of the hip structure. So what we're doing is staying stable on our thigh bones and rotating the pelvis. So just notice that action. Pivot on the right foot. Remember, right leg stays straight and strong. Left knee does not straighten. It stays bent. If your left hip is poking out to the left, shave it back and in. Now stamp your left foot down, press down, windmill open to your Warrior Two. Look over your middle left finger. Keep stamping both feet down. Zipper up front core as you look forward. Give yourself another breath, relaxed in your toes. Inhale and exhale. Flip your front hand and revolve. Keep the bend in the left knee. And then windmill your hands down to the floor. Lower your back knee and return to your tabletop. Give yourself a moment. Just reconnect with breath. Inhale and exhale. All right, set up the hands. Make your way into a high plank pose. Rock forward on your toes. Really root your inner palm down and then lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Give yourself a moment in down dog. Again, feel that full engagement of stretching the mat forward. Feel the lifting, so the armpits are not hanging or hammocking to the floor, but lifting away from the floor as you hug your upper arms in. Give yourself another moment to just breathe here. Inhale and exhale. Stand on the left foot. We're coming to high crescent lunge. So lift your right leg up, toes point to the floor. And then press the mat forward and press the left heel to the mat. Keep drawing your left hip back. Pull your belly in. Give yourself another moment here. Then come up high on the ball of the left foot. Draw the right knee into your nose and bring your shoulders forward over your wrists. Look to your thumbs. Step forward with your right foot. Stamp your right foot down. Feel the hamstring activate and reach your arms up. Reach up through fingers. Draw your right hip back. You might want to bend your back knee and pull the front rim of the pelvis up, or keep the back leg straight. Again, what we want to do is get the hips down and strong to the legs. Another inhale. Keep your right knee bent, warrior two, pivot and open. You might need to walk your right foot over to the left. Look to your middle front finger. So when I said right foot over to the left, I meant the left side of the mat. So just so we're clear. Give yourself another inhale and an exhale. Flip your right hand, revolve your warrior. Windmill your hands down to the floor, and you'll be in high plank. Rock forward on your toes, pull belly in, lift your hips. Again, return to down dog. Give yourself just a few moments to feel extension and length through your side body as you lift your hips up and pull your belly in. Stay for one more breath. Inhale and a long exhale. Stand on your right foot. Lift your left leg up. So press your right heel down. Pull the outer right hip back as you press back through the left heel. Give yourself just a moment, stretching the mat forward, weight back in the legs. Then come up high on the ball of the right foot. Draw the left knee into your nose, hike your hips up, shift forward, look between your thumbs, step forward with your left foot. Stamp your left foot down as you lift up. Make sure you're on a railroad track. So you might need to bring the left foot over to the left side of the mat. Pull the left hip back, and then you might want to bend your right knee to pull the front rim of the pelvis up. And then you can keep the back leg straight. Give yourself a few breaths. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Big breath in. Exhale, pivot, open to your warrior two. So again, notice there was no change in the strength of the back leg or the bend of the front knee. It was a rotation of the pelvis. Look forward to your left hand. Reach back through your right hand. Pull belly in. Flip your front hand. Revolve your warrior. Windmill your hands to the floor. You'll step back to your high plank and then lift your hips. Returning to your downward facing dog. Give yourself a moment. Again, spread your fingers wide, root through your inner palm, and feel extension and reach through the arms. Keep pulling your belly in as you press your thigh bones back. Stay here. Inhale. And on the exhale, come up high on your toes and bring your knees down to the mat, and we'll swivel the legs forward. So we're talking a lot about hamstrings and activating them today. One of the best ways to build that awareness is in bridge pose. So the hamstring, the back of the thigh, so many times in yoga we want it flexible, but what we really want are pliable muscles, muscles that can easily contract and lengthen. So if you have a yoga block, you might want to put it between your legs to activate the inner thigh
inner thigh and hamstrings are connected in work. So when we squeeze the block, that's just some extra reminder to the hamstring to contract. So walk your heels back towards your hips, and then bring your hands to hold on to your outer hips. And then come through a few pelvic rocks. So notice how you can rock the pelvis on the steady thigh bone. You're squeezing the block between your legs, activating inner thigh. And we'll just come through a few more times here. All right. So flatten your low back onto the floor. So pull your belly in, pull your ribs in. The back bend that we're doing here isn't a full letter C. We're just working on opening through the upper back. So we'll come into robot arms, palms will face each other, and you'll press the back of the arm into the floor to just start to activate the upper back. Press down your heel, your inner foot, and then keep pulling your belly in as you lift your hips up. Press the backs of the arms down, pull your belly in, navel in, and then as you stamp your heels down, you'll start to activate hamstrings. Squeeze the block, and at the same time, squeeze the buttocks as you reach the knees away. Give yourself another inhale and an exhale. Slowly lower the hips down. Keep the block between your legs and straighten your legs up to the ceiling. So here, notice if you're pulling your toes really towards your face, how you round the low back or flatten it. Bring the heels a little bit away so you can feel this gentle curve of the low back. From there, straighten the legs, pull your belly in, and reach the arms up and over your head. This is the action in downward facing dog. So tailbone presses into the floor, gentle arch of the low back, but at the same time you're pulling your belly in, which means lengthening through the tailbone. Give yourself another breath. Your legs might be shaking. Inhale and exhale. Bring the knees down to the floor. Keep the arms over the head. If this bothers your shoulders, you can goalpost your arms. Reach the arms over your head, maybe even hands wider like capital letter Y. Walk the heels close to your sitting bones. Squeeze the block tight. Notice how that just changed your pelvis? Yeah, so just release it. Again, squeeze the block tight. Press your low back onto the floor. Pull your belly in and lift your hips up. We're not working to overly arch the low back, but with the arms over the head, there might be some extra lift or arch of the upper back. Press heels down, inner feet down, relax your toes, and then keep squeezing the block. And as you're doing that, pull your navel in, pull the front rim of the pelvis towards your ribs. Pull your ribs down into your back body, front ribs down into back body. Now really press feet down. Feel the hamstrings, feel them fire. And then slowly release. We'll bring the arms by the side and then straighten the legs up to the ceiling. And then this time, you want to have that gentle curve of the low back. But let's just point and flex the feet. So, feet not coming towards your face, but a little bit away. So you feel the arch, and then pull belly in. And you can even draw some circles with your ankles and go in the other direction. And then feet back to the floor. This time we'll come into full bridge pose if you like, or keep your arms in robot. Squeeze the block between your legs, so hug it tight. Press your low back to the floor, pull your belly in, and then lift your hips up. Drive the heels down, reach your inner foot down,
and then roll your shoulders under. So when we open the upper back, there is some degree, or I'm going to change what I just said. When we open the front of the chest and contract the upper back, there is some degree of arching in the low back. But what I want you to work on is engaging your front core. So we're building strength in the upper back and strength in the belly and strength in the back core, the buttocks. So press heels down, inner feet down, squeeze your buttocks like a rock, squeeze the block, and then pull the front rim of the pelvis up towards your ribs. Just feel really strong. Feel muscle contraction, hugging bone. Give yourself another few breaths. It's not about how high you lift the hips. Once you get the front of the hip open, it's about how strong you can be in the posture. And then slowly release. If you've got a block, move it off to the side and bring the soles of the feet to touch. Let the knees open wide. Hands can come to your inner thighs or one hand to the chest and one hand to your belly. Just breathe here. Inhale. Even close your eyes. Just a few breaths of a mini Savasana. Breathe out. One more inhale and exhale. And then either rocking up to a seat or roll over to your right side. We'll make our way back into downward facing dog. So wrists under shoulders and knees under hips. Press the mat away with your hands. Lift your knees up. You're in your high plank. And then lift your hips. Downward facing dog. We're going to be coming through high crescent to warrior two again. And what I want you to really focus on is the strength of the hamstring. That it might be a new muscle for you to access in your yoga practice. So just focus on it. If it feels a little confusing today, in time it will happen. All right, so let's lift the right leg up. Draw the right knee into your nose, hike your hips up, step forward, stamping your right foot down for the strength to lift up. Once you're in your high lunge, pull your right hip back, pull your belly in, and feel your chest move forward. Straighten elbows, reach through fingers. Stay for an inhale. Exhale, pivot, open to your warrior two. Did you get that? Or did you straighten your front leg? Keep the bend in the right knee. Reach your right knee away as you look to your middle right finger. Stamp your left foot down. Squeeze left glute. Flip your right hand. Revolve your warrior. Keep the bend in the knee. Then side angle. Forearm down and reach your left arm over. So as you reach your left arm over your ear, feel yourself shifting the hips, the pelvis to the left leg, and lean back into your left shoulder. Stay here, inhale. Okay, we're going to do another hip rotation. On the exhale, pivot, look down to your right foot, walk your right foot a little over to the right. You're in your runner's lunge. Now, this is where you might want blocks again. From your runner's lunge, press off your back foot, step forward, move your blocks if needed, and you're in a standing split. So, we're going to keep the pelvis square today. So, lift up through the left inner thigh, squeeze the left buttock, and draw your right hip back. Pull the chest forward, move your shoulders from your ears, and stay here for an inhale. And on an exhale, bend your left knee, bring your left foot down to your right, and bring your hands to your shins. Come into a half lift. Exhale, chin to chest, and fold. Root through your inner feet. Reverse swan dive, reach up. Exhale, arms float to your side. Believe it or not, this is our first mountain pose in this practice. So root through the feet, lengthen through the low back as you squeeze your outer hips and glutes. Zipper up front core and feel your shoulder blades moving flat on your back. Stay here, inhale. And exhale. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Hands will come to your shins. A half lift. Hands to the mat. High plank. From your high plank, hips will lift. Downward facing dog. Give yourself a moment in down dog. Feel the extension. And notice your breath. Another inhale. And an exhale. All right, lifting the left leg up. Come onto the ball of the right foot. Draw the left knee into your nose as you shift forward and step. Stamp the left foot down as you lift up. Bring the hips lower. Pull the left hip back as you zipper up front core. Reach through elbows, straighten your wrist, stay for an inhale, and on an exhale, stay low, pivot and open to your warrior two, adjusting the feet. So maybe bringing the left foot to the right side of the mat, just a bit. Keep the bend in the left knee, and then stamp your right foot down, squeeze your right glute as you pull your belly in. Flip your left hand, revolve, and then left forearm to thigh as you reach your right arm over. As you reach your right arm over your ear, stamp your right foot down, squeeze your right glute, and pull your belly in. Stay here, inhale. Exhale. We're coming to runner's lunge. So start to pull the left hip crease back. Pivot on your right foot, it stays straight. You're in your runner's lunge. Probably need to walk left foot over to the left. Give yourself a moment. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, shift forward. Stamp your left foot down. Lift your right leg up into your standing split. It's sort of a modified warrior three. So lift up through the right thigh bone, press back through the right heel, and then pull the left hip crease back. Belly is in, chest is forward. Give yourself another few breaths. And then bend the right knee, bring it down to the floor, and bring your hands to your shins. Come into a half lift. Exhale, chin to chest, fold. Root through your inner feet. Reverse swan dive, reach high. Exhale, arms float to your side. Again, give yourself a moment in mountain pose. Feel yourself balancing through the feet, so weight back into heels. Inner foot grounds outer foot. Tailbone lengthens, belly is in, crown of the head reaches up. Stay here. Inhale. And exhale. One more time, take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Hands will come to your shins. Half lift. Hands to the mat. High plank. Pause in your high plank. Shift forward on your toes, and then bend your elbows. Lower all the way down to your belly. On your belly, bring your forehead center onto the floor and your hands behind your head. And then we're going to come into a belly down mountain pose. So curl your toes under and lift your knees off the floor. So you're engaging the legs. Heels press back. Now notice arching in the low back. So pull your belly in. You're rotating through the pelvis. So lengthen through the low back, squeeze your hips, your glutes, and then keep that action. It's a lot. Lift your elbows and lift the back of the head into your palms. Heels reach back. Belly pulls in tight, 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 tight. Lift and release. And then just bring one ear to the mat and shift your hips side to side. So what that's teaching you is how do you engage the front core and the back core of the buttocks in that motion. It's a lot of work. Usually belly down postures, you just want to be soft in the belly. So it builds up a lot of core strength. We'll do it a second time. So usually the second time the body understands the cues a little better. So curl your toes under, lift your knees off the floor, and then bring the hands to weave fingers behind the skull. Stay strong in the legs, and then squeeze your outer hips, your glutes, lengthen your tailbone to your heels, and pull your belly in, pull your navel in, and then press the back of the head into your hands. Lift your elbows to the ceiling. Press the back of the head to the ceiling. Keep hugging outer hips. Squeeze buttocks. Pull belly in. Lift up higher. And release. Opposite ear comes down to the mat. Ooh, that should have felt like a lot of work. If it didn't make sense, meaning understanding how to contract those muscle groups, then practice, just notice what time it is on the video and hop back to this portion and practice it. All right, so from here, let's make our way back to a tabletop. And from our tabletop, let's just take a few moments in child's pose. So knees wide, big toes touch. You can even stack your forearms again and bring your forehead center on to your arms. Maybe you're feeling high energy, then just come right into down dog. We'll join you there in just a moment. So just notice your breath. In a big challenge like that belly down back bend, your breath might have gotten really short. So let's just fuel up and breathe again a little deeper. Relax shoulders. And even relax the expression on your face. All right, let's make our way back to downward facing dog. And lift your hips from your plank to dog. So give yourself a few breaths, moments here. Take an inhale. And an exhale. So our back leg will be our left leg. So we're going to lift the left leg up and bend the knee and stack the hips. What you don't want is your left shoulder to lift. So keep your shoulders square, pull the right hip crease back, and lift the left knee to where the wall and ceiling meet. So as you're doing this, you're squeezing left buttock. There's some left hamstring contraction. So just feel that action. And then you can release the left leg down. Lift the right leg up. We're going to come directly into warrior two. So draw the right knee into your nose, step forward, pivot, and windmill, to your warrior two. So the reason why I was a little unstable was I wasn't stamping my right foot down and engaging the hamstring. So just notice that in your practice. Feet down, belly in, chest lifts. Straighten the left leg. Keep the bend in the right knee. Revolve your warrior. Then forearm down to the thigh, sweep the left arm over. This is all movement through the pelvis. Stamp feet down, lean back into your left shoulder, zipper up front core. Inhale. On the exhale, we're going directly into our standing split, our warrior three modification. So pull the right hip back, press off left toes, step up. Hands can be on blocks, the floor. But then let's get alignment. Draw the right hip back, pull belly in. You might even want to bend your right knee just a bit to activate. And then lift up to your warrior three. Pull belly in. Balance, breathe. And then you'll release the hands down. We're coming into pyramid, so reach the left leg back and down. You might want to walk your right foot over to the right. Pull the right hip crease back. So the weight isn't forward into your front leg, but it's into your back leg. And if you need to bend your front knee to do that, go for that. But pull the outer right hip back, lift your sits bones up. You're getting into the belly of the right hamstring. You're stretching what we've been contracting a lot. And fold. Look at your left knee. If your left knee is bent and soft, straighten it. Engage the front of the left thigh and fold. More weight moving back. Let the head relax. Let the jaw relax. And just feel this. Not at the back of the knee, not at the sits bones attachment, but feel it in the belly, the center of the muscle on the right leg. Then look forward to your right foot. We're returning to a runner's lunge. So step the left foot back. Again, you're on a railroad track. Pull the right hip back. Right hand behind your head. We'll come into a twist here. So driving the left hand down. As you revolve, reach back with left leg. And maybe you reach your right arm up. Give yourself a few breaths here. Then slowly unwind. Bring the hand down to the floor. Lower your back knee. Uncurl the toes. Bring right hand inside of the right foot. You'll walk your right foot over to the right side of the mat. And then even turn the toes out to 2 o'clock and roll onto the outer edge of the foot. You'll stay here or bring your forearms down to the floor. If you're rounding and hunching your back, like cat pose, then come up higher because you need extension of the spine to get deep into the hip. If you're really fired up today, you can curl your left toes under and lift your left leg up. Keep pulling the chest forward though. Notice that rounding. So whatever is best for you. Just give yourself another few breaths. I actually feel we can get deeper into the posture when we do less here, meaning a little bit more opening in the right hip. But that might not be your focus today. Slowly make your way up and take the leg back. And let's just draw some circles with the hips before we hit the second side. So you're just going to shift the hips back to the right heel, over to the left, and come forward. Do that a few times. So when I was saying might not be your focus of the day, you know, some days we just need to be really burning off a lot of energy. So that might be more the focus, to really focus on the strength. And some days we really need to move. And some days we need to just slow down and feel. All right, let's change direction. So hips to the left heel, over to the right. And you're also doing a little bit of shoulder mobility here as well. Hips and shoulders so connected in their work. All right. So second side, make your way into your high plank and downward facing dog. Again, I will not be facing you in warrior two. So sometimes that's helpful, like I said before, to see the back body. Give yourself a moment, take a breath in and a breath out. All right, we're going to open up the front of the right hip, the back leg. So lift your right leg up, bend the knee and lift up. So right shoulder, did it lift? Rotate it down. Hug your upper arms towards each other. Then draw the left hip crease back as you lift your right knee up higher. Pull belly in. Relax the head. Release your right leg. And then lift your left leg up. We're coming directly to warrior two. Bend your left knee, draw in, step forward. Pivot on your back foot and windmill open. So you might need to creep the left foot away, stamp both feet down, pull belly in as you look forward. Then flip the left hand and revolve. As you're revolving, keep the back leg straight, then side angle. Bring the forearm down and reach the right arm over your ear. Keep stamping down the back foot. Squeeze the back glute as you lean back into your right shoulder. Give yourself a moment. Breathe in and out. Look to your front foot. Pivot, step forward to your supported warrior three. So feel yourself stamp your left foot down, pull your left hip back as you reach back through the right leg. And maybe you pull belly in more and lift your hands. So lots of strength. Keep pulling belly in, pulling left hip crease back. Balance the hips, the pelvis. And then reach the right leg back and down, and you'll come into pyramid folding. Give yourself a moment here. Your left ribs are on your left thigh bone, so maybe you bend your left knee to bring the thigh bone to the ribs. And then bring the weight back, meaning hips pull back, just like you do in down dog. Move the hips back. Then press down right heel, inner foot, engage the front of the right thigh. Relax the neck, the shoulders. Just breathe here another few moments, getting into the belly, the center of the left hamstring. Relax the left toes. And then we'll step the right foot back so you're in a runner's lunge. Hips come down. Start to pull the left hip back, hug your inner thighs together, and just feel the chest get light. Then left hand behind the head, and you twist. Keep the hips down, left hip back, and reach up. And then just give yourself a few breaths to be in this twist, taking each exhale a little deeper. And then slowly lower your back knee, uncurl the toes, bring the left hand inside the left foot, and walk the left foot over to the left. Turn the toes out, roll onto the outer edge, and then just, again, it's that same thing that I was saying previously about the pelvis moving forward and down. So you're heavy in the hips. Then perhaps you come lower, as long as you're not rounding the spine. And then, like I said before, if you're fired up, curl the back toes under, lift the right knee off the floor, the leg is straight, chest is forward. Do what's best for you. Give yourself a few more breaths. Notice the exhale. And then slowly, we'll make our way back up and move to your tabletop. And then roll over to one hip and bring your legs forward. So with your legs forward, depending on your low back mobility and hamstring, your knees might be slightly bent, because what we don't want are legs extended and doing what I'm doing. See how I'm slouching? We want to have an upright, straight spine. So if that takes bending your knees, that's what we want. Move the flesh of the seat back and apart. Zipper up front core, and then not rounding shoulders and leading with head, but feel yourself leading with the hinge of the hips and the lower front ribs. So you can even take your thumbs and bring it into the top of the thigh bone. Ground the thigh bones, flex the feet, pull belly back, so pull your navel in, and hinge forward. And like as soon as I do it, I feel like I've got to walk my sitting bones back a little further. So do that if needed. Then press the thigh bones down, pull belly in, and then hold on to your shins, your ankles, your outer feet. And then once you've got your ribs on the thighs, then you can just relax the head and even bring a little rounding into the upper back, but not until your ribs are sandwiched to your thighs. You might need to bend your knees a little to bring the thighs up to the ribs. If your low back and your hamstrings have that mobility, then drive your thigh bones into the floor. Pull your belly in, and you might notice you can fold deeper. Really strong legs. Slowly make your way up. You'll bend your knees, and depending what you'd like to do, we're coming into boat pose. So we'll do the first one with bent knees, and then we're going to hold on to the feet. You might prefer to stay with bent knees. So bring the hands first behind the thighs, rock back on your sitting bones. Just let the heels lift from the floor. Now notice, are you slouching and energy moving down into the floor? This is not what we want. Pull your belly in, lift your chest, and feel as if you're reaching the crown of the head up to the ceiling. Keep pulling belly in. Imagine an apple or tennis ball between your knees. Hug it, and then lift your ankles to knee height and reach your arms up. So if the arms lift, the crown of the head lifts. Keep hugging your inner thighs. Keep pulling the belly back. Inhale. And on the exhale, soles of the feet touch in Baddha Konasana, and you fold. Just give yourself a moment. Breathe in and out. Okay, slowly make your way up. You can do what we just did, or you can hold on to the big toe mound or the outer foot. So if you're doing that, bring your thigh bones into your ribs, pull belly in, and then you work to straighten your legs. And then press the chest up towards your toes, pull the shoulder blades down your back, and pull your belly in. So straight, strong legs. Chest is lifted. Stay here. Inhale. And on the exhale, soles of the feet touch, your legs are still lifted, and bring the feet down to the floor. And then you might want to walk your sitting bones back as you hinge forward. Just a few breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Another deep inhale and an exhale. Slowly make your way up to come back into a third boat pose. So your choice.
Move the flesh of the seat back and apart. Rock onto your sitting bones. You can either hold onto your feet, the backs of the thighs, or just simply straighten the legs. This is even more work because you're not using your arms to hold on to the legs. So reach through the heels. You can even reach through the ball of the foot. Pull belly in and release and let it go. Yeah, I was really working my calf muscle, which not sure if I wanted to be doing that. A little bit of a cramp. And fold. So these things happen, and you just notice in your practice what muscles sometimes work that don't need to work. Slowly make your way up. We're going to come onto your back. We'll come into a spinal twist before Savasana, the final pose. So with your knees bent, bring your hips over to the right side of the mat, knees twist over to the left. What we want is to twist the upper back to the right, so the right shoulder blade is firm on the floor. The left hand can come to your right thigh, and you'll look over to your right. And then just give yourself some time here. Just get quiet. Slowly make your way back through center, and you'll shift your hips to the left and twist your knees over to the right. So now your left shoulder is lifted, so you can bring your elbows to the floor, press them down, and twist the upper back to the left, and then reach out through the left arm. The right hand can come to the right outer thigh, and then just breathe here. Slowly unwind, and you'll come into Savasana. So square the hips, make any adjustments, and then straighten the legs. Arms are by your sides, palms face up. So just start to let the body get heavy into the floor. When the body is either tense or has been working, again, there's this elevation as muscles contract. So let muscles spread and lengthen and soften. Notice how you can do that with more ease on your exhale breath. Relax your jaw, parting your teeth, and then feel the skin on your face soften as you relax the muscles of your face. So relaxing your cheeks, your brow, and your forehead. Maybe even up into your scalp. And then give yourself some time to be quiet. So noticing a thought, and then return to focus on the breath. your breath a little longer. And if you'd like to stay in Savasa longer still, please do. Otherwise, just start to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes, roll your wrists and ankles. And make your way over to your right side. Just pause here on your right and breathe. And then slowly up to a comfortable seat, and you'll bring your hands into your heart center. Close your eyes. Sit tall. So gentle pull the belly in. You might feel yourself rock back on your sitting bones. Crown of the head reaches up. Stay here for a moment. Just take a breath. Inhale. And exhale. Fingertips to your forehead center. So have a wonderful day, and until I see you again, namaste. So I hope you enjoyed this practice. A lot of focus on hips and transitions. If you have questions about this practice, you can always email me, beth@bethgrahamwellness.com. I also have online courses that you can see on my website. So take much care. Bye-bye.